Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Blue Wave. So we got a great bit of reporting here from Vanity Fair about some Rolling Stone reporting about just how much Donald Trump in private thinks about the possibility of going to prison and wondering even what type of prison he might be sent to, among other things. But before we get into the video, please be sure to like, subscribe to the channel, comment down below. Let me know what you think about Donald Trump's personal musings about the possibility of going to prison for any of the number of federal indictments that he is currently facing, whether it's for hush money payments to Stormy Daniels or taking classified documents from Mar-a-Lago to, from the White House to Mar-a-Lago after he left office, or for calling Brad Raffensperger and trying to get him to overturn the Georgia election and asking him for the exact number of votes he needed to overtake Joe Biden in the state in the 2020 election. So let's get into the article here from Vanity Fair because it's some crazy stuff. It says Donald Trump is worried about having to wear one of those jumpsuits in prison. He's also reportedly been asking people in his inner circle if they think he'll get to go to a cushy Club Fed type prison or will be sentenced to do time in a bad one. When Donald Trump sat down for an interview with Meet the Press that aired on Sunday, Kristen Welker asked him, "When you go to bed at night, do you worry about going to jail?" Trump responded, "No, I don't really. I don't even think about it. I'm built a little bit differently. I don't even think about it." But according to a new report, the 4 times indicted ex-president has very much thought about the prospect of going to prison and has, in fact, some very specific concerns about doing time. Rolling Stone reports that over the past several months, Trump has taken to asking members of his inner circle if they think he'll be forced to wear one of those jumpsuits behind bars, whether he is worried about having to trade his business attire and golf duds for a classic prison garb in general, or if it is the idea of an orange jumpsuit in particular, which would likely clash with his complexion and give rise to untold late night jokes that has him uneasy, is unclear. In addition, according to the outlet, the ex-president has wondered aloud if he'll be sentenced to do time in a Club Fed style prison, i.e. a relatively cushy place white-collar criminals have historically been sent to, or if he'll be sent to a quote-unquote bad prison. If there's a chance he'd get lucky and only get house arrest, if the government would try to strip him of Secret Service protection, and what would happen if he were convicted and sentenced, but also reelected, which I'm not going to lie, that's a question that I've personally had and I fret about at least once or twice a week is what happens if Donald Trump is convicted of a crime and then goes on to win the presidential election? Does he now have the ability to pardon himself and then he's not responsible for his crimes that he was convicted of? Talk about a constitutional crisis. Now, what this really illuminates here is just how much of a difference there is between Trump's public persona that he displays and this macho strongman image, take no crap, I'm always I never get down on myself, I'm always on top image that he projects, and personally what goes on in his day-to-day life. And it's really quite stark of a difference, and it's amazing to hear this sort of perspective from Donald Trump about his own fate, because it just goes to show that so much of what he projects and what he presents, it's all this show. It's all this charade. It's this facade. It's a con man, a snake oil salesman doing a really good job at duping a whole bunch of people who don't know any better. And that's what that's what his number one ability has been in his life, is to make people think that he's a powerful, strong, smart man and will it into existence through basically the image he projects and his whole brand and the Think of the gold Trump plated buildings that hideous buildings that are everywhere. Okay. And that's Trump's brand, though. It's unrecognizable. It's unrecognizably Trump looking. And that's always been his thing. So for him to be concerned about the optics of his brand being affected by him being in an orange jumpsuit specifically, I got news for you, Trump. There's a lot worse things that you're going to have to worry about in prison than the color of your clothes or whatever clothes that you're wearing. Say goodbye to your cushy lifestyle, buddy, because the problems are only going to get worse and worse and worse than how an orange garb is going to look for him or whatever. And yeah, it's just really a difference in how Trump presents himself and personally how we know him to be. And again, his number one ability that he's been able to successfully complete, and his number one asset, is Trump has this magic wand that basically, if somebody is just predisposed enough to kind of follow his way of thinking and but sort of take to his persona and the way that he presents himself and his brashness and his sort of, me first attitude that he constantly displays. Trump has the ability to take this person who is somewhat predisposed to that sort of political brand and just wave a wand over them and just make them like enter a hypnotic trance of, I will do anything that you say, and I will do anything that I will follow you to do anything that you tell me to do, and I will follow you to the end of the earth. And people who would otherwise describe themselves as being pretty masculine, macho men or whatever, Donald Trump he turns them into pudding, man. He turns them into some sort of liquid. They just melt right before his very eyes and his very presence. And it's really crazy. If you don't believe me, go and watch some of these videos when Trump, every once in a while, Trump will go out to a Dairy Queen. That's where I remember him going most recently, or to some public facing place. And there's a bunch of Secret Service all around, all walling off the crowd. And he walks in there, and it's like spiritual moment for everybody involved. It's like this, the freaking Dalai Lama or something walking in. And Trump has this like this aura about him that like people just get like sucked in to his grievances, his whole worldview. And that's Trump's number one ability right there, is to enter a room, suck up all the air and all the attention, and make people enter this stupor where they're just there with their mouths open. They just can't believe that they've been graced with the presence of Donald Trump. It's really ridiculous. But like I was saying, go and watch these videos where he goes into a restaurant or some sort of like the state fair in Iowa or whatever, and it's crazy. And this is really the kind of behavior that makes me believe that Trump's following and the base that he's built up of support, it's not really a political following per se, in that there's no policy objectives other than whatever Donald Trump says is best. And this is where we kind of get into the GOP kind of being a cult and not a political party, because of their unwillingness generally to stand up to Donald Trump and to go against them, even when it means sticking their neck out on the line and potentially having some political fallout and a little bit of heat being taken from going out and speaking out against him. No one's willing to do it. And it's because of this, again, this magic wand that Trump has. And it's his number one political asset. It always has been in his whole life. And it'll continue to be his number one political asset. It's not his strategy. It's not his speaking ability or really anything about him. I mean, let's be honest here. It's this stupor that he puts people into that makes them like more likely to believe what he's saying and not really challenge it at all with any kind of logical thinking or facts or, you know, anything that goes against the narrative. But that's all I got for you guys in this one. Please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment down below. Let me know what you think about Trump's private musings about going to prison and what that would mean for him in a very detailed, specific way. And until the next video, you guys have a good one, and I'll catch you in the next video. All right, peace.